Hello, I'm Slava Numenko, and this is part 1 of my customizing modern SharePoint with JavaScript demo. In this part, I will talk about custom CSS and JavaScript for branding, custom tabs, and chart. Let's take a look at Resource Loader SPFx extension. This is a very simple solution. That is application extension, which first creates some global variables and then loads SharePoint-based libraries in this given order. The two last libraries that are loaded are SPe.js. This is the utility library. And then your resources.js. Note that resources.js is loaded from your current site collection. This allows us to customize different site collections with the same solution. Let me illustrate this. We have these two different site collections, test2 and test3. Now if we go to resources under test2 side, we'll see that this is does just a simple alert saying that this is test2 site. Now if we go to test3 site, we can do the same here. And now the same resources.js is loaded from a different site, so it gives us a different message. Also note that this resource loader is application extension, so it is loaded on every modern SharePoint page on your site. This includes system pages and also list views. This enables us to deploy custom CSS or custom JavaScript, which we can use for branding. For example, this simple custom CSS will hide the top menu bar, and to deploy it through our resources.js, all we have to do is load it using SPE load utility function. And now if we go to our test2 site and refresh, this top bar is gone. SPE examples include couple more scripts for using resource loader for branding. For example, you can do a media query to hide tabs on small screens. And also in some cases it is difficult to do anything on the page using just CSS, in which case JavaScript can be used. For example, this hides the logo, and this JavaScript hides share this site button. Tabs in chart example work similar. The content for both is stored in SharePoint lists. So the tabs under tabs and the chart under milestones. To display a chart, I used chart.js library. This library requires an object to be prepared in certain format and then used in the new chart method. Since the data is coming from a SharePoint list, milestones list, first we do a query on that list, and then for each item we create basically counts for pending and completed items. And then we have to convert those counts into format required for chart.js prepare params object, and then create our chart. To embed the chart on a modern SharePoint page, I used custom content loader web part. So in this case, it points to dashboard.html, which sits inside assets. Let's review the content loader web part. The content loader web part loads text from any text file, can be HTML or any file, sets inner HTML on a container, and then goes through the page and loads JavaScript. Inner HTML does not execute the script, so you have to do it separate. There are many solutions like this. Mine is a bit simpler because I do not have to load SPe libraries, because resource loader takes care of that. Tabs example is implemented in home.tabs.js. First we do a query on tabs list, and then we load the content into a format required by tabs method implemented in SPe library. Please feel free to examine it yourself. And then after tabs are loaded, we also load a news. The news are going into the first tab. So first tab provides just a container for the news, and then we query news list and load the news into the first tab. Last thing to note is that the actual invocation of init tabs and init dashboard is done in resource.js. We need to do it asynchronously because this load does not provide the script right away. It will take some time to load, so you cannot do it like this. Therefore, we have this util do function. This function delays the execution of this method until that method becomes available on the page.